Hello, this is David with Tax Analyzer Express. Today we're going to demonstrate just how easy it is to analyze a tax return for a mortgage loan. In a matter of only a few minutes, we will analyze a tax return from start to finish. Tax Analyzer can be used for any U.S. federal tax returns and reads all schedules and forms. This includes Schedule E's and corporate tax returns like 1120, 1120S, and 1065 forms. Okay, let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is click the File icon and then click Browse. And we're going to select the 1040 for the year that we're looking for. Now we're going to click Upload, and simple as that, it's starting to work. Notice the Q tab, there's a file working. You can see the status on the progress bar. See it here. So while this is running, I want to take a few seconds here and go over some of the features of Tax Analyzer and get you familiar with the dashboard. Okay, so on the left-hand side over here, you're going to notice this tab. That is the name of the file, and this window on the left is called the working window or the worksheet. And as the file gets processed, it'll start populating these fields. On the right-hand side, there's several tabs. We're right now in the scan tasks inside the queues. There's also a recent scans and a save scan in case you've stopped a file or came back later and need to work on it. On the bottom right, there's a module called checker. And what that does is it lets us know whether or not there's any issues with the file. There's also another spot that'll show up, and I'll give you an example of that in just a second. Okay, now that the tax return is complete, you can see it completed in a little over a minute and a half, about a minute 37. The first thing to take a look at is if you look on the left-hand side here, there's an exclamation mark. And what we want to do when we have that exclamation mark is we want to make sure we check the checker down here and see what the issues are. In this case, it's saying that there's a Schedule E present, but there's no corporate tax returns, and you shouldn't have a page 2 Schedule E if you don't have tax returns, if you don't have the corporate tax returns, that is. So what we're going to do is, while we're still kind of showing this dashboard, we're going to add another scan with this Add Scan button. We're going to click Browse again, and then we're going to pick the matching file that goes with it, which is a 1120S for the 2016, and we're going to say Open, and then Upload. So now if you notice on the scan task queue, there's an extra line item here that shows the file that's currently working. When they show inside this same box here, they're being merged together into one file. So we'll finish reviewing this dashboard as we go along here. So on the worksheet, you'll notice the first column is the line item on the tax return and what it's called, like IRA distributions 1 and 2. The second column is value, and this is what we actually interpret the third column, which is image, to be. So we're going to capture a picture of the actual tax return, and then we're going to determine what it is. The value is the number that we're going to be working with. The image is what we look at to make sure that we translated it correctly. The fourth column here is an action. There's an ability to exclude this line item. So if you said, I don't want to use this income for whatever reason, you could click that minus button, and this one lets you edit it in case the reading came back incorrect for some reason. Up on the top, you can exclude the entire form. You can view the PDF, and we'll show you that here in just a minute. You can delete the form if it's the wrong form or if it's not something that's valid. And then if there happens to be a little bit of a bug, then you can report it so that we know what's going on. Okay, so now you can see that the tax return has been completed with the second file. And if you notice down on the bottom here, the Schedule E error is removed. So the next thing that we're going to move on to is we're going to work through validating this data to make sure that it's an accurate tax return analysis and that we won't have any issues when it gets to underwriting. The way we're going to do that is we're going to take the value column, compare it to the image column, and if they're the same, we're just going to work our way through the whole document. We're going to see that it's 317,316, and that says that here too. Anytime you see this green font like this one here, it knows that it's been validated. It's done math or it's compared data on different areas of the tax return. So we know that it's correct, and so it goes green. As we scroll down, we see other fields, 359, 650, 637. And what we're going to do is we're just going to compare the column here in value to the image. And when they match, we know we're good to go. Here you'll see a black font instead of a green one. And what happens here is sometimes there's just no way that we can validate that data because it's not duplicated anywhere on the tax return. So we just leave it in black so that way you can take the time to verify it. What I recommend that you do is you click on this magnifying glass here, and it'll actually pull up that PDF of the data that we're looking for. So on this one, it actually did pull up the 1120S K1, and we can see that the number is 160,722, and that the ownership percentage is 50%. As we scroll down, you may notice that the screen on the right is changing, and that's because the PDF viewer keeps up with what worksheet form that we're currently on. Okay, back down to this checker here, you may notice also that there's a warning, and those are in blue. And these are things that don't necessarily affect the value or the analysis of the tax return, but it kind of looks like maybe we should have some information on those. So this is a warning saying, hey, you may need a Schedule B, so make sure you just check that and that your file is complete. Once you've gone through this whole file and you're comfortable with it and you feel that the file is accurate, we go up here to the menu and click the PDF button that says Get SAM Report. We need to fill in the name and a loan number and then an address. And then we can scroll down through and take a look at this file as we go through. There's a last minute effort here that you can make a little modifications and some fine tuning on the file. Also, if you need to add a comment, you can do that. That way the person seeing the file later on can know what to look at. Once you're happy with the results, click the continue button. This little disclaimer pops up and says I have reviewed the data presented in this form, and this will actually log date and timestamp who was actually looking at the file. So we're going to click OK, and then after a couple of seconds we're going to be presented a SAM method cash flow analysis, all 4 pages of it. As we scroll through, the different sections are broken down. You can see like in sole proprietorship, there is no sole proprietorship, so it's all zeros. And as we go further down, we got different partnerships for different kinds of documents. And in this case, it's an S Corp for a Schedule K1 Form 1120S. So the data is in there for the 1120S. Regular corporation has nothing because it didn't have a regular corporation. And down here we can see that the average monthly cash flow is $31,579.50. So now we know what the income is that the borrower is applying with based on their tax returns. And if you have a Schedule E with a bunch of property on it, this worksheet here will be filled out too. So that's pretty much it. All you have to do now is just download or save it by putting your mouse here. There's a download button and a print button. Okay, there you have it. We just went over a 50-page tax return in a matter of just 7 or 8 minutes, and we even took the time to explain how to use the software in the middle of it. So you'll see that Tax Analyzer Express not only helps you analyze income from tax returns, but it also helps verify that all the forms are included that are necessary. This will help ensure that your calculations are correct and will prevent false loan approvals. That's all we have here. I hope that was really helpful and you got a chance to see what the Tax Analyzer Express software can do for you. Have a great day.